Hi, Damon Davis. Welcome to today's program. I want to thank you for tuning in. For those of you who have followed me online and watched some of our most recent programs, you know that I'm really on a mission right now. I'm going to call it a crusade. I'm on a crusade to help people get well. There's a lot of people struggling with some sort of sickness or disease. They're not well. Maybe that's you today. You woke up, you don't feel good. You look in the mirror and you don't like who's staring back at you. And you just know that there's more to life than getting by. So today's program, I'm really excited to have with me a very special guest. And we're going to call him Dr. Joe because that's who he is. And he is the author of a book, Man Diet. Isn't that a great title? This might be one of the most important blueprints for how to eat in a way that, well, the testimonials speak for themselves, where you feel good, you look good, the pounds are falling off, and at the end of the day, you have the kind of energy and vitality to do the things that God created you to do. Dr. Joe, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to see you.
Honor to have you.
Absolutely.
It's an honor to have you.
It's an honor to be here.
We're going to dive into a lot of stuff relative to your book, and you just heard me give this opening about what my mission is.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the book, talk about how people can do some things today to get well. But before we go into that, I know you, they don't know you.
Yeah.
Give us just, if you would, a 10,000-foot summary of who Dr. Joe is.
So I'm a medical doctor, and I trained originally in Western medicine, boarded in family medicine. I then did a fellowship, which is additional training in something called integrative medicine, which is where you start to learn the different alternative approaches, such as nutrition, such as meditation, stress management, botanicals, essential oils, all the other natural approaches that God has created as part of nature that are useful, have been used for millennia with people to help heal. And we put that together. I work for a center. I'm tied to a hospital, and I work for the hospital where we see between 10 and 12,000 patients a year.
Wow.
I also teach at one of the Ivy League medical schools. This Thursday, I'll be teaching all the medical students, and I teach them specifically what is integrative medicine, what is human nutrition, and my patients are referred by other doctors.
Wow.
Because they can't take the medicine, because the medicine is not working, because they won't take the medicine.
Yep.
They need something natural, and that's where we come in.
You work with people who are sick,
Yep.
diseased,
Yep.
maybe have faced some diagnosis. I'm sure on the journey you've had to be a bearer of difficult news. And those people, ordinary people just like us, are looking to figure out a way to get out of where they are, to get back to normal.
Yeah.
But normal is not really where they need to get back to. Because normal, as we discover on this journey of what causes sickness and disease, normal is what got us into the position we're in anyway. How would you describe normal today? How are most people eating? How are most people living? Why are people getting sick?
So if you look at the data of the population, you're going to see that 60% of the population are either overweight or obese, that a third of them have abnormal blood sugars, 20% of them roughly, and this is from the age of 20, so some of these people have just stopped being children, already have elevated cholesterol. I mean, this is why there's a massive amount of pharmaceuticals to help, and people are waking up. They need medicine to wake up. They need medicine to keep awake. They need medicine to deal with their multiple medical conditions. And I think that life is not about a C grade where you wake up in the morning. You should feel wonderful because that's the way God created you. You should have energy. You shouldn't need to be caffeinated or Vyvanced or Adderalled to be able to, I mean, if you have a medical condition like ADD, then maybe you need the medicine. But if you're just doing that because you can't function, then look at why that would be. How is your lifestyle impacting?
Sure.
Because it's impacting negatively. And that's healthy people who have bad lifestyle. What about when you now have a disease state where your body is fighting something, you are not giving it the tools it needs. It needs to eat properly, move properly, sleep properly, and deal with stress.
You are now working with people, thousands of people every year.
Thousands, I would say probably about 30,000 patients in the last decade.
Wow.
No drugs, not one prescription.
And in your practice, in the hospital, as I understand,
Yeah.
you're in a special area that does not prescribe pharmaceuticals of any kind. Am I understanding this correctly?
Literally, with the exception of a couple of specific bioidentical hormones that other doctors are perhaps not so familiar with, for what all intents and purposes, prescription medications we do not do at our facility because there's no necessity to do that. I'm in a group of 120 doctors. They're all very well trained. They're perfectly capable of pharmaceutical management. What we're doing is an added extra, but so important. There's not a disease, there's not even a healthy person that shouldn't take a look at their lifestyle and then move things from here over to here. And this is thriving. Why should we not thrive?
Yeah. You know, it's hard to imagine that you could have doctor, MD, and no prescription medication
I know.
in the same world.
I know, it's been a long time coming, I hasten to add, because when I first started, I have to say the reception from my physician colleagues, and I had the same training as them, was lukewarm at best, because they were worried this was going to take us into a realm that was going to be lack of evidence, lack of efficacy. We were going to do things that were just kooky and really not appropriate to patients, because we are there to help and to cure. And what they've realized after 10 years is that the majority of my patients come from other physicians that they're not always sure what exactly I do, but what I seem to do seems to be an added extra that will help their patients.
Sure.
And so it's all consults.
I went on a quest around the world to find out what causes a man to get sick and what man can do to get well. I discovered some things. One of the things I discovered is I didn't find a whole lot of doctors who talked about diet at all.
It's a shame. They're missing this. You know, Hippocrates, your food is medicine.
Yeah, let medicine be thy food, food be medicine.
This is literally the foundations of health. I mean, it's the first thing. I just want to tell you kind of how I got into this. I got into this because I started off, I was working after residency. Before I'd done my fellowship, I was working, and I wasn't trained in nutrition or any kind of integrative approaches. I've been trained in the pharmaceutical model, and I was working with the underserved, which is an honorable thing to do, with patients who were incredibly, incredibly grateful for my help. And all I could do was just give them pills. And I was scratching the surface. And I tell you, after a year of doing that, I felt that I was doing a disservice because I wasn't treating them optimally. They could do better than what I could offer.
But you go to a doctor expecting a doctor to make you better. And I found it fascinating that there was never a conversation about how did you get here.
Yeah.
It was a conversation about what's going on, and let's give it a name, and then, which we were searching, and then give you a drug.
Yes.
How do you think we got here? And let's figure that out so that you're not having to live on medication the rest of your life. I haven't met a doctor who's, until you, that is actually entertaining that kind of conversation.
We're looking at whether your lifestyle is impacting, because we know there's masses of research about the fact that so many diseases have a lifestyle contribution. And even if we can't cure, we can always help. We can always heal. So lifestyle works for everybody because it's going back to the fundamentals. You are born with an incredible machine. This body of yours is the body that can run a marathon. You have to feed it and water it and care for it. And you've got a Porsche, you've got a beautiful sports car, and you put in awful cheap gas and you never look after it, and the suspension goes, and now you wonder why you're at the garage all the time. That's just the same with the body. You have to look after it. It really was just upsetting that I really wasn't able to give them what they needed. And then I trained, I understood, I saw patients, and now it's not that I'm anti-medications. Medications have a place. Their medications are wonderful.
Of course.
But there's so many other things one can do before. Why do you even need to get there? The medicines are there for when they're available. But let's try some other things first. That's what we're here for.
So in medical school, doctors are not being taught then the importance of diet or the foundational principles of 1 + 1 = 2. In other words, fried foods, sugar, polyunsaturated oils, bad carbs.
Right.
I mean, if you just look at any one of those documentaries
Yeah.
that are available,
Yeah.
that profile food
Right.
and the food industry
Right.
and the stuff that they are genetically modifying
Right.
and the byproduct of those foods, we're killing people.
We're certainly contributing to the obesity epidemic and to mortality in this country.
Well, the statistics
I
tell
know.
the story.
That's right.
Heart disease
That's
has
right.
never been higher.
That's right.
Cancer has never been
That's right.
higher. Childhood obesity has never been higher.
Awful.
It's horrible. It's climbing. It's climbing. It's climbing. The statistics are so frightening.
Yeah. It's reversible. It's preventable. It's reversible.
Explain.
The reversibility is that if you come and see me, so your doctor sends you to me, you're a guy, this is what the man diet was for. You're a police officer, it's an honorable profession. You're a first responder, whatever it is that you do. You don't have a great lifestyle because there isn't a lot of time for that. You eat whatever you can eat. Yeah. It's not a thought, it's just whatever's around. You don't think about what lunch is going to be. You get there and then it's like, okay, I wonder what's around, that's what I'll have for lunch. That is not, if you want your food to be your medicine, you better work out what your food is going to be before you have it at the beginning of the day. But these patients come to me and their doctor says, go see Feuerstein, go see him. You got 3 months to get all of these numbers better. And this is not just me.
What numbers? You mean like
your
blood pressure?
cholesterol and your sugars and your blood pressure and your inflammation and your weight. And what we're going to do, and this is what the book is, which is mostly recipes that you can actually eat. It's written by two men who eat as men would eat. The idea is that what you're doing is changing. You're doing a modified version of a modified Mediterranean diet. It's not the Mediterranean diet. This has been published. I've published this in 3 published clinical studies in international medical journals and nutrition journals. This is validated. I'm not making this stuff up. I've seen it with 10,000 of my own patients, and I can literally get people from being diabetic. If you haven't been diabetic for that long, if you've been diabetic for 20 years, we're a little lost at that point. We're going to have to take the meds. But if you just flirt into diabetes, we can literally reverse that. We can stop that happening. You have to just, in a period of 12 weeks, do this program, which does not just include nutrition. It includes activity and stress management and sleep.
Sure. Let's talk about the book.
Yeah.
What will I find? You call it the man diet.
It's the man diet.
It's a bunch of meat, a bunch of steak.
So listen.
Sound like
why did
caveman
I do
stuff.
this? Exactly that. Why did I write a man diet? A couple of reasons. Firstly, because the first study we published, which was published in an international peer-reviewed nutrition journal, what we found from the results were, I mean, again, this is just published. You drop your cholesterol by 20%. That's 20%, which is slightly less than on a medicine. And people lose about 15 pounds, 20 pounds. Their blood pressure drops, and their blood sugars will go from pre-diabetic to almost normal or normal. And they'll do it in 12 weeks. And that's what the program is. It's the man diet program. But the reason why it was for men is because when we actually look at the research, it's why we do research. Because if not, you get a general idea. When you do research, you then have to put it together statistically. It's honestly, completely objective. And it turned out that men just seemed to do better than women. Their weight loss was faster, their clinical results were faster. And I realized that this works better for the male body. Why? The male body naturally probably has less fat than the female body. And the male body honestly sheds weight very well, providing all the hormones are normal. If you have a low testosterone, that's a different story. If your thyroid doesn't work, that's another story. If you have other endocrine problems, that would be it. But normally, that is all you need. You just need 10 weeks of good behavior, and it has to be for men who will actually eat this food. So I didn't say no one should eat animal protein anymore, because what am I going to do with my 300-pound firefighter? He's not going to, really. I see all these, I had so many cops from
he still wants some steak.
I've got lots of guys. It's an honor, really, to treat all of these first responders. But I've got to tell you, that wasn't reality. You've got to meet someone where they are and just understand that everybody's not just going to decide they never eat animal protein again, or they'll never eat this or that. You have to be kind and realistic.
Got it.
That's kind of realistic.
Yeah. I'm here with Dr. Joe Feuerstein.
Nice.
Man with a great accent.
There we go.
There we go. Talking about his
God
book,
bless.
Dr. Joe's Man Diet. 12 weeks, better cholesterol, better blood sugar, better looking you, drop 15 to 20 pounds. It's possible. Man, what a claim, but you're seeing it every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
3,000 patients a year.
3,000 patients a year.
10 years, 30,000 patients.
Wow.
This is not one person. This is not an anecdote. This is literally based on published clinical research.
Yeah. So this is a 12-week, I'm not going to call it a diet.
No, it's a program.
I'd take off the
diet, because if not, no one would know what it is.
Yeah, of course. Take off the letter T and you get die.
That's right.
People are starving
That's
themselves
Yes.
by some fad program,
Yeah.
hoping to lose weight. They don't really change anything about their lifestyle. And statistically, they gain it all back and then some.
They do.
Right? You've developed something that isn't going to happen in 21 days.
No.
It's 12 weeks. It sounds like you're creating a lifestyle shift.
Because remember how long habits take to form.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the reason why we do this. By the end of this, you are going to feel better. You've got a metabolic makeover, but I love the time when they come in after they've done their blood tests. And I say, and I do this, this is probably the most exciting part of my day, is people come in and I weigh them and they've lost 15 pounds. It's like, okay, let's do your blood tests now. And you know that their blood tests are going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
You know that they're going to be like, oh my God, I'm not diabetic anymore. And I'm going to say, and you can thank God, and you can thank nature, and you can thank the message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12 weeks.
Yeah.
They're losing weight.
Yeah.
Their cholesterol is improving.
Yeah.
Their blood sugar is improving.
Yeah.
People are going from pre-diabetic to
Normal.
normal.
Or diabetic to normal.
Or diabetic
Or coming off
to
the
normal.
meds.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you have people, I would imagine, that are talking about a whole host of other benefits.
Yes.
Energy,
Always.
sleep.
You are feeding the body the optimal amount of nutrients it needs. You are looking after this performance sports car. Of course, it's going to run smoothly. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's a performance sports car. We all have, this is what the human body is. It runs marathons.
Have you seen people that have received a diagnosis
Yeah.
that 12 weeks later it's gone?
Well, in terms of the metabolic stuff, absolutely, because that's going to be diabetes and high cholesterol.
You call it metabolic stuff.
Metabolic would be anything to do with metabolic diseases, which are diabetes, obesity, overweight, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, but not diabetes, high triglycerides. All of those are metabolic. It's about part of metabolic diseases.
Got it.
That's actually a massive risk. That's probably the biggest risk in this country for heart disease, all the other types of cardiovascular disease, but also the relationship between that and cancer.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal, because when you no longer have...
When you say the relationship, I'm sorry to interrupt you, you mean that those things out of whack, prolonged, sustained, stay that way, increase risk of cancer.
I'll give you an example. There's a study that came out today talking about the link between obesity, but the typical, there's two types of body fat. There's the body fat under the tissue, and then there's the visceral one.
Fat,
The visceral fat, there's literally came out this morning looking at the risk of colon cancer, of recurrence of colon cancer, all of those parameters. And that is cancer with patients who have excess visceral body fat.
Got it. The reality is, having been educated by doctor after doctor after doctor, some in emergency medicine, some have family care practitioners, people come through the door. They are sick. They've got 30 minutes, an hour to spend. The time is spent dealing with a symptom.
Yeah.
The time is dealing with pain.
That's right.
The time is, how do we help manage the disease that is in your body?
Right.
And the default becomes pharmaceutical medication after testing and what have you, but that's it. Next patient. Next patient. I want someone to slow down and spend some time to understand me.
Yes.
And put together a program for me.
That's right.
That is going to get me well.
Yes.
And that's what you do.
That's literally what I do. We take a full history, and the 4 foundations of health are, I want to know exactly what you eat. And I want to know exactly, and if you can't remember, you're just going to have to write it down for me, and you're going to have to come back with a diary, because I need to know what you put in your mouth, because that is the fuel, and that is your medicine. So you can bring all your bottles, and that's great, and you can bring all your vitamins, and that's great, but I'm really interested in what you put in your mouth that comes from food. I want to know exactly how you sleep, everything about your sleep. I want to know exactly your movement. I want to know it. If you can't tell me that, we quantify it. And I want to know what your life is, who you are, what your stress is, what your beliefs are, What's your connection to the divine? People who don't have a spiritual practice, people who don't have a connection to something greater and larger, they get sick. Wow. Purpose, my friend, purpose is everything.
Yeah. Do you find that when you enter the journey with people, I'm going to call it that, you get to know who they are. You now put together a program for them, that they're getting well?
What I love about my practice is that there is no one I meet in all of the patients that I see who I have not in some way impacted their life in a positive fashion, because what I'm doing is a lifestyle change, but it's specific to the disease. Everybody doesn't get a generic diet. Everybody gets a different program individualized to their problems and to who they are and to their own limitations. But the point is that everybody in some way is going to improve. Now, some people, we get this spectacular improvement. I would say of all the things, the ones that I do best are obesity and high blood pressure and cholesterol and weight, which is why the book is written, because this absolutely works and is published in 3 different studies, in 3 different trials.
Got it.
But everybody, the moment you are into natural approaches, it's always going to do something useful. Be safe. Use evidence-based. They have research behind. It's not kooky stuff, always. And that's why I do it. There are other branches of medicine where people don't get better. My patients always get better. They don't always get cured, but they always get improved.
Got it.
They're always getting healed.
Got it. The man diet.
The man diet. That's the number one problem we got.
Yeah.
Diabetes and cholesterol and weight.
Yeah. So this is a good starting point.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean,
if you have any of those, that's what you need to be doing.
A lot of people watching, a lot of people struggling, a lot of people searching, a lot of people confused. You're trying to lose some weight. You're trying to feel better, look better, get well. Would you say that for most people watching, this ain't going to hurt them?
This is not going to hurt them at all.
Yeah.
This is modified Mediterranean diet.
Got it.
If there is any diet that has the research to support what is the ideal diet for the person, it would be a Mediterranean diet. But the Mediterranean diet, I have found, has just too many carbs in, and you're making an assumption with a Mediterranean diet. It was never a diet, it's a lifestyle. These people are moving, they're walking up olive trees and vineyards at 100 and taking water from God knows where and walking 10 miles a day. They are the people who do the Mediterranean diet. If you're not doing that because we're in America, we're not in Italy anymore, which is a shame, then you need to be on a modified. This is modified to understand that the level of activity has gone down as we have become more industrialized.
And will the man diet give us the other things that we need to add to our lifestyle? Will it speak to the areas of the importance of meditation? Will it speak to the importance of movement? Will it give us suggestion and ideas of those types of things that we can do?
There's a whole chapter on this. And what I want to say is, remember where I originally came from? I came from a place where my physician colleagues were skeptical that I was going to be very woo-woo and out there. This book has probably 150 references or 100 references, and I can tell you categorically that the number one reference source is the premier journal in the world, the New England Journal of Medicine. This is not based on thought, it is based on real masses of studies. And so when I talk about lifestyle, I talk about sleep, and I tell you what are the tricks for how you don't put the weight back on, guess what? The New England Journal of Medicine has studies on this. We're not uneducated about this. We know. I put them all together. It blows you away about whether you should eat fast or slow, about the different types of toxins and endocrine disruptor chemicals, these things that are in the body that mimic our own hormones and completely disrupt our metabolism. All of this is not me making this stuff up. This is in the medical literature. It's just in the medical literature that some people read, some people don't, and I do.
Wow. Dr. Joe Feuerstein.
It's a pleasure.
Very nice to have you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the program, and thank you for tuning in. Dr. Joe's Man Diet. I love the tagline, by the way. Lose 15 to 20 pounds, drop bad cholesterol 20%, what a claim, and watch your blood sugar free fall in just 12 weeks. We are making a decision right now whether we realize it or not. We are deciding to do nothing, which means non-action, which means nothing changes. Or we're deciding that there's more. There's got to be more. Better you, better life, better love, and it just takes a simple phone call. So I'm going to encourage you to pick up the phone right now, go to the website, connect with us, get more information, and by all means, get your hands on this book. 12 Weeks to the Best Version of You. It's possible. We'll see you again. I'm Damon. Bye-bye.
So
Awesome. Great job.
Fellas, it's time to man up. The time has come to make your health a priority, and there is no better time than right now to build a better you. Carrying those extra pounds around not only stops you from looking and feeling your best, it can lead to long-term disease and illnesses like diabetes and heart conditions. But you can turn it all around today with the best-selling book, Dr. Joe's Man Diet. The insights in this critically acclaimed book have been proven to get results with over 10,000 patients in clinical trials and in real life. Avoid costly doctor visits, lose up to 20 pounds in 12 weeks, drop your cholesterol level by at least 20%, and watch your blood sugar levels normalize, all without relying on prescription drugs. Dr. Joe will teach you how to eat smart and lose weight, and best of all, keep it off with easy-to-follow recipes and tips to keep your stomach full while getting your health back on track. Dr. Joe's Man Diet is backed by scientific research and is filled with easy, mouth-watering, guy-friendly recipes that will have you on your way to better health in no time. And all without any drastic diet changes or calorie counting. Dr. Joe's recipes are specifically designed for your lifestyle. And as an added bonus, Dr. Joe will give you his essential companion teaching video on the foundations of health. Learn the 4 keys to optimizing your health so that you can begin to enjoy doing the things you love. Get your Man Diet bundle today for your love gift of just $30 or more. But wait, that's not all. If you call now, Damon will send you the full version of today's interview, uncut and unedited, with all extra insider knowledge from Dr. Joe that we didn't have time to show you on today's broadcast. You will get these 3 amazing tools when you order your Man Diet bundle today for just $30 or more. Call now and jumpstart your health today.